Jack, 21 years old, from the UK. I'm currently a student at Exeter University. I'm just getting into my third year of sports science.
And like, how did you used to feel when you were a young kid and young man?
Good,
Yeah.
very good, lots of energy. Always been like very active into my sports. Used to love like football, cricket, playing hockey. It's something like I never really thought about when I was younger. I just took my energy for granted and just good every day. And yeah, it's nice to be active and healthy and happy every day, really.
And then what happened to you?
Well, things started to change really, especially when I was 16 years old. My first experience digestive problems, not irregular ones, but like constantly, day in, day out. So by digestive issues, I mean like the constant bloating of the stomach, constant problems when going to the toilet, and really just like constant just pain in the stomach the whole time. A good example was when I went to have a roast dinner one evening with my family, like 16th birthday, quite typical, nice thing to do. So I had a roast dinner, a nice ice cream for dessert. So I wake up the next morning, like 1 o'clock in the morning, stomach's like I'm pregnant,
Wow.
and a huge amount of pain. And like my stock strategy at this point is get on the floor, do like some bicycle kicks, and you to a toilet, bicycle kicks, toilet. That's going on for the whole night, so you don't sleep. Next day, the energy's not really nice either. And it's just not a nice feeling. Just every meal, it's a constant worry. Is my digestion gonna be okay?
What did the doctors say?
Yeah, it's always a difficult one. It's a very hard thing to, I suppose, get across to a doctor how you're feeling, and they sort of just said, so maybe just like look into what you're eating, try and keep it simple. But they didn't really know much really.
Did they give you a diagnosis of any kind?
They said probably like IBS, so irritable bowel syndrome. Again, it's not, they didn't really say what you can do. It's sort of, so you should live with it and you take some digestive tablets now and again maybe.
So how did you continue? Did you change anything, or did you just
I just
struggle?
followed the standard Western diet. So I suppose I just tried to eat simply. I'd have my meat, my starches, and so I was eating whole foods, but just like the digestion was still really quite poor. It's just like day in, like it's a battle day in, day out. It's just like constant pain every day.
And did it get any better or any worse, or?
Just, I wouldn't say better or worse, just nothing really changed. It was, it just didn't really do anything.
Right. Was any other part of your health affected?
From the digestive issues?
Yeah.
Well, eventually, yes.
Okay.
So that sort of continued for 2 years. Eventually, when I was 18, probably due to digestive issues to an extent, I had a period of chronic fatigue. So I was actually off school for, I think it was about a month and a half period, and yeah, that was probably the lowest point of my life, to be honest.
Right. So your energy was just really not there.
Yeah. So definitely no exercising. Like for someone who's loved their sport when they're younger, that's, I don't know, it's just a terrible feeling really. You just want to be active and enjoy yourself.
You couldn't do anything.
Couldn't do exercise. I could walk a little bit, but that was about it. And also just the mental side, like really struggling to concentrate and just no energy to just to live like how I used to live when I was younger.
And you told me about you visited a doctor at some point, and you had like, how did you feel after you left him?
Yes, sure. So that was when I visited the doctor for chronic fatigue, diagnosis or help really. So they were taking some blood tests, and so to cut a long story short, their basic response was, unfortunately we don't really know. We've checked some chemicals, etc., but we don't know. My only response at this point was just to cry. So it's quite a funny situation. Me, my mum, and like the doctor there, and I say funny, but it's only funny looking back. But it hurt deeply at the time. I just cried my eyes out. Car back home, I cried my eyes out, and it's that feeling of like desperation, of just a helplessness, of like, how am I going to solve this? I'm 18 and I can't really go with no energy.
Yeah.
It's scary, basically.
So what happened after that? What was a turning point for you?
I suppose the initial turning point was I make a connection between what I'm eating and how I'm feeling. So first of all, I went to a vegan diet. It helped to an extent, but I wasn't really doing it properly, as in I'd read a book, it's called The pH Miracle, talks about the acid-alkaline balance, and I was under the impression that fruit was bad for you. So my vegan diet basically comprised like a lot of starches and quite a bit of salad, but it's just lacking in energy. And so I did that for the next year or so, getting energy up and down. I was back to functioning in society, as in I was on a gap year at this point before university, so I was doing a bit of work, wasn't particularly exercising a lot. And then, so it's a year later when I actually went to university, sort of had another period of chronic fatigue. So that's quite scary. Again, I've gone to uni and tried to play sport and it hasn't worked out. And
so you were studying sports, or?
I was actually, yes. Yeah, it was my first year of sports science, actually. So.
And you couldn't really play?
Yeah, so it's a bit of a contradiction, isn't it? I'm studying it, but...
And then what happened?
Can't hope to get involved. Well, I suppose I was continuing my nutritional search, and really the turning point was to read Nutrition and Athletic Performance by Doug Graham, which emphasises a 80-10-10 more vegan diet from a perspective, an athletic perspective. So I read that about, I think it was February time of my first year at university, so I'm 19 at this point. So I actually 20 at this point. And yeah, it's sort of, it gave me hope, number one. It just made me think, there's a way out of this, and if I start implementing it.
And you did?
Yeah, well, it was quite a funny situation, I suppose, in terms of, it's my first year at uni, my students are concentrating on the alcohol, but lots of different stuff, and I'm trying to really just go for this health path, but it just felt right.
Did you
went for it,
go 100% overnight?
Oh no, it was a process. So I'd already gone vegan by this point, which helped. I mean, it was just starting to get more fruit in my diet. Also really just eating simply. So I tried to eat as much fruit as possible. If I couldn't get enough calories, I'd eat starches, obviously the vegetables as well. And then it was over those 2, 3, 4 months, reducing the starch element for the carbohydrates and increasing the fruit.
Right. And then, how about your health? What happened there?
Easy to forget, but yeah, just the energy levels were, it's really hard to put into words, but it was incredible, just a rise in energy levels.
How quickly did it go?
It took a bit of time. So when I first started to do it, I was not really in sport. About 2 or 3 weeks later, I started to run again.
Right.
So yeah, trying to just gradually build it up, obviously taking it slowly, and yeah, feeling a lot better. I noticed I'd recover far quicker from exercise, I'd sleep miles better, and just the consistency of energy throughout the day. Obviously the physical side, and also just having chronic fatigue before, the mental side, the concentration, it's just, it was like, just finding a solution, and you just want to tell the world, wow, it's amazing.
And what about your digestion?
Yes, fighting my digestion. It took probably, I'd say, longer. It did take time to heal. But but yeah, I noticed like it took quite a long while for my stomach to be able to expand to properly accommodate with fruit meals. But I noticed I had to go properly to the toilet throughout the day, bloating, especially when I went fully raw. It's just really a non-issue, as long as I kept the combinations right. It's just sort of worked how it's supposed to work, and from going from being in absolute almost agony every meal, every day, it's indescribable, isn't it, really?
So it functions perfectly now?
Yeah, it's just like amazing. It's almost like a discovery. It's discovering something new. Wow, I didn't know this is how my digestion was supposed to be. To be so consistent, it feels good every time, and it just doesn't. It doesn't hurt. It just feels good, really.
Feels good, yeah, as it should be. And you can do a lot of sports now. You told me you did a run.
Yeah, so I suppose that was when I first went to the sort of 80-10-10, and obviously started running a couple of weeks later. I wanted to challenge, so I set myself a target of doing an ultramarathon in September. So that would be about 6 months after I started this adventure. So yeah, it's quite a bit of training.
So you did an ultramarathon half a year later?
Yeah, basically.
Wow.
So yeah, I started did the training over summer, and the ultramarathon itself was around the university campus or for a homeless charity, and just like beyond your wildest dreams.
Wow.
The furthest I'd run before that point was maybe 5 or 6 miles. I had done some running when I was younger too, so I did have a running history, but
not that long.
But nowhere near that long.
No.
And I wouldn't have a chance if I wasn't fueling like the way I do now.
Do you have a final good advice to somebody who's struggling with what you dealt with?
I say there's hope. Number one, if you believe in yourself, you can definitely do it. So don't feel hopeless. There is a solution. And then, to be honest, the biggest challenge, obviously it's practical challenge and stuff, was really just myself. I found like my personal growth when doing this was incredible. So it's just really getting to know yourself well and trying to not let any emotions or anything get in the way of you living the best life you can lead.
Thank you ever so much.
Thank you.
Hvis du gerne vil vide mere om, hvordan du kan forbedre dit helbred, så er der 2 ting, du kan gøre lige nu. Det første, det er, at du kan abonnere på mig her på YouTube, og så vil du modtage videoer hver gang jeg laver en ny. Det andet, det er at gå ind på min hjemmeside og hente min gratis Kom i gang guide, og samtidig vil du også modtage nyheder fra mig og endnu flere gode videoer, der kan forbedre dit helbred. Min hjemmeside, det er www.raskpåraw.dk, og det eneste du skal gøre, det er at klikke på skærmen nu.